It is Monday, and you know what that means? It means that it is time for another accountability challenge for the week here in the Showrunner podcasting community. Last week, we talked about repurposing, and this week, the topic of our accountability challenge is community. And there are two really big C words that we talk about a lot when it comes to building an audience and building a relationship with your audience with your podcast. The first one, of course, is connection, a word that we talk about all the time. It's what makes podcasting such a wonderful medium and why we all love it so much, that ability to create these really rich, intimate one-on-one connections with our audience members. The next C word then is community. And the definition of community, I looked it up this morning, a feeling of fellowship with others as a result of sharing common attitudes, interests, and goals. And that is exactly what we want to develop in terms of a community with our audiences. And I think you really start to reach kind of that next level connection when it's more than just your listeners connecting one-on-one with you and with your content, but when they start connecting with each other around your content. You really go to the next level in terms of the relationship that you have with your audience, because you become more than just this person who's creating episodes that give them value. You become the person that is creating an entire network, this entire kind of world of content and people that others can then come and find themselves in and become more enlightened in and find connection in. And so it's such a great position to put yourself in as a showrunner. It can really take what you're doing with your show to the next level. The question, of course, is how to do it and what is the next step to take to do it. And that's what we really want to focus on this week with the accountability challenge. And, with all of these accountability challenges, how you view this and what you do next is going to be totally dependent on the context of where you are. And if you're just starting out, I know, because I've been there, that it can be a little bit intimidating to see shows that have been around for a while and that have these massive communities built up around them. And you can, look at maybe the 25 downloads that you have on your first few shows and think, well, what can I really do now to create any type of community? Well, there are always kind of small, simple steps that you can take. And so if you're in one of those early stages, don't shy away. Don't be scared. This is a great opportunity to take one of those next steps forward. So, the first step to keep in mind when it comes to creating community is that you've got to make sure that you're connecting one-on-one first. And if you're not connecting one-on-one, if your show isn't connecting with your target audience members, then now might not be the right time to think about community. But if people are responding to your calls to action, if you've had somebody email you, if you know that your show is starting to connect with people one-on-one and you have some kind of evidence to back that up, then you're ready to maybe take that next step for community. And if not, then the next step for you in terms of building community is to still work on that one-on-one connection. So maybe for the accountability challenge for you this week, it's to put out a new call to action and to track if anybody takes advantage of that and who that person is, and to really work on developing your one-on-one connection with that person. All right. If you've reached that point, then maybe you're now at the place where you can start focusing a little bit more than just on the one-on-one connection with your listener and start introducing some opportunities for community among your listeners. Okay, so maybe that is creating a hashtag on Twitter that you can discuss the topic of an episode on. You can discuss it on that hashtag. Maybe you post on Facebook and encourage comments to get some comments going in, and then, of course, participate in that conversation to get it going. Maybe you can introduce two people who you've connected with one-on-one that you think would benefit from getting to know each other, right? Small, simple steps. What is something that you can do to encourage interaction, not just between you and a listener, but among your listeners themselves? And if you've done that, and if there are some conversations going on, maybe in the show notes of your post, or already on Facebook, or already on social media, maybe now is the time to invest a little time, a little money even, into creating a place where your community can congregate, really taking it to the next level, right? So maybe that is hosting some live events where you can really get some community going in the comment section. I know for us on the Assembly Call, every Thursday night we host a live show, and there's a really robust comment section. That is community. Those people show up to hang out to watch the show, but also to be together and to chat, because a lot of times what they're talking about in the chat is actually different than what we're talking about in the show. They're here for each other, right? But we give them the kind of the reason to come together. All right, so maybe it's that, live event. Maybe you're adding a forum to your website. Maybe you add something like discuss to your comment section, something that encourages more interaction and comments. Maybe you start up a platform like Mighty Networks, like we have here for the Showrunner podcasting community. Maybe you host an in-person meetup. Again, what you may choose to do to take the next step for your community is going to be different from what I would do, from what Johnny from doing, from what the hundreds of other people inside the Showrunner podcasting community might do. But what is right for you and your audience and your show? The accountability challenge for this week is to think about what's the next step that you can take to encourage more community. It doesn't mean it has to be successful. It doesn't mean it has to be this big grand plan to open up a massive community and do all this stuff. It's just what is one step you can take to move a little bit further in the direction of really building a community around your content. That is your challenge for this Monday. We'll check in on Wednesday. Of course, we'll check in on Friday. Please be sure to post it if you're accepting this challenge, to post what your plan is in the comment section, because we can all learn from hearing and seeing and reading the plans of other people, seeing what others are doing. And be sure, of course, to encourage your fellow members of the Showrunner podcasting community to accept the accountability challenge and then to fulfill it. Because if we do these week by week by week, it's like stacking bricks, and we build better shows for our audiences and for ourselves. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you in the comment section.